matures in one way or another.
Absolutely.
And of course, though, the pressure is on there, and I don't know where it started from, but the pressure is certainly there to sort of discover the fountain of youth and kind of always look youthful despite the physical years. And that's a struggle for a lot of people. And I think maybe one of the first points for us to begin is to talk about our skin, because it seems that that's where aging sort of manifests the most. Can I say showcases the most? Like it's like it creates a stage and puts up a whole production. So maybe we can talk about that, and maybe even just give us a bit about your own background too, as far as talking about anti-aging and counseling people, as far as advising people rather on anti-aging tips.
Great. So thank you for having me. I'm a health and skincare therapist, so meaning I've trained in the beauty industry, not just the skin, but completely looking at the body. And that's because you can't look at the skin without looking at the rest of your body. And while it does show faster on the skin, what we see on your skin is a manifestation of what's going on inside your body. So, and interestingly, it has been, you're young, you're great, you don't worry about these things. One day you wake up, you're 20-something, you're 30-something, you hit your 40s, and things start happening. And I think maybe the beauty of being in the 40s age group is you realize there's a lot more we need to do. A lot I took for granted when I was young in my 20s. And there's a message I'd like to get out there. So start now. If you're young in that category, you are so lucky. Take care of it now. If you're already where we are, it's never too late. You can start something. But the real message is there's nothing you can do on your skin if you're also not taking care of your body internally. Because like you said, aging is a natural progression that we'll go through. We will definitely age. We just want not to look our age. We want to look 20 years younger than we really are.
For real, black don't crack. We want to say it for real.
For real, exactly, exactly.
Okay, we'll be touching on the things that we do now directly on the skin in a little bit, but let's dive into what you're talking about, that really anti-aging is an internal process. Explain that to us.
So if you look at when we talk about aging, we are basically talking about premature aging. That's what we want to avoid. We are going to age.
You're going to age.
We will get wrinkles. We just want to get them a lot later in life than getting them now. So all that, what's happening on the skin does not function by itself. It is a part of your complete body, and what's happening on the inside is what will happen on the outside. There's so much we can add onto the skin, but it definitely always must come from inside. So my approach and my belief is skincare must be holistic. So when you talk about anti-aging on the inside, we're basically talking about lifestyle. What are you eating? Are you sleeping enough? Are you resting enough? Are you consuming too much alcohol? Are you smoking? What are the repercussions of those things? Are you eating balanced diet? Are you eating a lot of vegetables? I mean, because we need a lot of these vegetables. If you're unwell, are you going for necessary medical attention? And over and above, are we supplementing? How are you managing your stress? So all those things that will cause aging in your body and will cause slowing down of things in your body are the things that we need to definitely take care of on the inside by the time we add whatever it is we add on our skins.
Okay. And what role does sugar play in all of this?
So what sugar does, when we consume a lot of sugar, and I mean the sugar everywhere, from fruits to all processed sugars to everything else, so we need to be very careful with what you're consuming. Sugar goes and attaches itself proteins in the body. And when we talk about proteins, I want you to start thinking of collagen and elasticity. So we know the reason people are taking all this collagen stuff is because we want the cells to regenerate themselves. So sugar attaches itself on the cells in the body that start forcing the breakdown of your things like collagen and elasticity. So that's when, eventually when the skin sags is you're losing elasticity. When collagen is not constantly being produced, that is what will make us then age a lot faster. So that's why we tend to say sugar is not good. We're not saying cut it off completely, but take things more directly.
Sure. And of course it goes without saying water is absolutely key in all of this. For your hair, your nails, your skin,
everything.
Absolutely. Okay. So let's look at the topical side of things. And you've talked about starting early. how early are we talking about? Like, at what point should someone begin buying facial serums and, you know, eye creams? There's a lot that's out there in the market, and it can kind of get overwhelming and expensive.
Completely.
So what should you be prioritizing, and from when?
So you need to start. So skincare, when you say starting early, getting into a proper skincare regime. Skincare regime means you're cleaning your face, you're moisturizing your face, and most importantly, you're protecting it from sun exposure, meaning you're wearing sunscreen. So when you look at things like sunscreen, you should already start with the children from when they start going to school, when they're already out there playing out in the sun. So with sunscreens, you start them early as from when they actually, literally kindergarten, when they get into kindergarten.
Okay. And let's talk about that too, because I think for us as Black people, we always feel like, but our skin is, you know, we were born for the African sun.
We're born for the African sun, but it definitely does cause damage, overexposure to the sun. And what's really sad about sun, if somebody is seeing any damages on the skin now, and a lot of times we see the pigmentation, it's not what they got last holiday at the coast. It's probably what they've had from when they're in their 20s. That's why it's very important to protect. So there's nothing like, because you're Black, you don't need sunscreen. You need sunscreen, everybody, and it has nothing to do with color. What the sun does, and the reason why the sun is the biggest or the largest cause of premature aging on the skin, is because, once again, the sun produces free radicals that go and interfere with the whole process of the cells. So it starts causing the breakdown of collagen, and eventually we start having issues with the elasticity, which is why. And one of the ways, of course, other than now getting a lot older, or getting older sooner, and it starts visibly showing, it's a hyperpigmentation and things like that we see, which means it's penetrated. Remember your biology, the different layers of the skin. It means the effects have penetrated, the UV rays have penetrated into the deepermost layer of the skin, and damage starts from there.
So for all those people who enjoy packing certain mafutas in the morning that work well for you, but then unapenda unajikausha hapo nje in front of the sun, probably not a good idea. So what does a good sunscreen have? There's different numbers that we see on these bottles. There's
the SPFs and all that. So the sun protection factors, so anything from 16 all the way up to you know, the highest you can get. It just really depends on what you're doing. We believe in the industry, even just 16 SPF 16 is sufficient if you're, you know, if you're staying indoors. So you probably only got exposed when you're coming to work and later when you're going out of work. But an average, since most of us are up and about a lot, moving from one place to another, is normally we have a sunscreen, for example, that's SPF 30, and we find that's really sufficient. When you need to start going for higher SPFs, it will be if you're going to be out in the pool, you know, so outdoors activities, a lot in the pool, dipping in the water. And it also just constantly means every time you get into you get into the water, you come out, you dry yourself, please reapply again, because obviously, like oil you'd have applied on your skin, once you wipe it off, then it goes.
And if you're just sort of within the city, you're not going swimming or anything, can you wear this under makeup? You know, do you have to then reapply it if you're in and out of a building? How does that work?
No, that you don't need to reapply. So once whatever you applied in the morning is great. And you find for us, especially, I was going to say women, but men don't wear foundations. Women with makeup, foundation, it's a good thing, because a lot of foundations would have a certain element or a certain SPF factor in it. So for somebody who's wearing a foundation, that's already a bit of a cover. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't wear, because, I mean, you're wearing on your face, you're not wearing on your neck, you're not wearing on your arms, you're probably not going to wear on your legs. Yes,
so sunscreen it's always is for the whole body.
You should wear sunscreen for the whole body, absolutely the whole body. And sunscreen, let's also not forget, it does not stop you from going, you know, if you're out in the sun and you find you've gone a bit darker, it will not stop you from maybe going a bit darker, but it's definitely protecting the damage. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about exfoliation. I think the science, of course, has really changed in the last few years. I think when we were growing up, there were certain things that people used to buy in the supermarket that, I don't know, we were told you're scrubbing off. The way people would do it is literally like they were scrubbing off layers of their skin, which we now know is actually very bad. But there's also things now like chemical exfoliants, and some of them are even kits that people are buying and using for themselves at home. But that should be a little concerning, especially if someone is not very
seeing a worrying trend where we are over exfoliating. And a lot of times you speak, you know, women, you're speaking to your friends, or you'll always hear somebody say, my skin is very sensitive, or because I'm breaking out, I'm exfoliating my skin a lot. As a result, it's causing a lot of sensitivity. It must be done moderately. Always do under the advice of a therapist. And what I mean is, so for example, we're looking at your chemical exfoliants, and you know, any of those, there are those that you need once a month when you go for your facial treatment.
Right.
But for the rest of the stuff that you're doing at home, understanding your skin is very important. What skin type, what skin condition are you treating, and more so condition are you treating, so that then you know what exfoliator to use. So you know, we women in trends, we are really jumping into these trends
without
you know,
knowledge.
craze, without, because I told you I use whatever, and you go get it and you use it, and you don't know whether that's going to work for you or not. So exfoliation should be done ideally once a month. However, there are times in between, depending on the brand that you're using, depending on what it is that you're treating. There are times you could do it at home, but it needs to be very mild, and the movement as well. You know, when you do the movements, it's not the bottom of their feet with that stone that you need to scrub off. Exactly, you don't need to sugua. It's not a sufuria that, you know, burnt when you made your ugali. You need to be very, very gentle with your skin to make sure you're not doing, you're not causing damage.
Right. And also with skincare, as you've mentioned, there's thousands upon thousands of brands out there, thousands upon thousands of steps of different products rather, and with that has come many different steps now that people are supposed to follow according to industry experts. And there's things, I think it's as far as even 10 steps, you know, there's Korean beauty, there's whatnot. If someone is sort of trying to figure out their skincare regimen, are all of those steps necessary, or what would be a basic regimen that one can begin?
I'm very realistic. Let's keep it very simple, because we already don't have a skincare regime, and then I'm giving you so many steps, most people fall off the way. I can tell you that for a fact, because I've seen it happen. So I'm very simplistic, very simplistic. So cleanse, moisturize, tone or not tone depending on the brand. Moisturize, and that will be morning and evening, depending on your age. Eye cream and sunscreen. Those are your basic, those are your essential skincare steps you must do every day. And then of course, depending, by the time you add your serums and any of these and masks and things like that, those should always be your basics. So you're moisturizing,
moisturize.
So cleanse, let's put tone depending on the range. Like I said, some ranges or some brands have toners or may not have toners, depending. So cleanse, tone, moisturize. Those are your basics.
But it also seems that there's quite a bit of debate as far as whether you actually need to have a toner nowadays too.
And once again, it depends on the brand. We have a brand, Body Evolution by Winnie, and we have two ranges, and the one range does not have a toner. The other range has a toner, and that's why I said it depends. And the range that has a toner is for your oily, problem, acne prone, breakout prone, and it becomes then, because of the synergy in the ingredients that must be used together. So really, it will depend on the brand.
And as far as the moisturizing bit, and also the cleanser, important to get something that is suitable for your face.
Absolutely.
So don't just use ile ulioshea nguo or anything, you know, like get something that's gentle enough for your skin. But now as far as moisturizer, because I think this is where there's been I've heard supermodels also talk about how they use petroleum jelly and they have great looking skin. So there's a lot of confusion as far as, do I really have to buy something that just says facial moisturizer, or can you use any moisturizer?
I would say, once again, don't guess. Think of this as when you go to a doctor, you don't go tell the doctor, give me Panadol and not Maramoja, for example, because Panadol works better for me. Always start with professional help. So that you get to know what's your skin type, what's your skin condition. I'm a big believer, my approach is on skin conditions. We can't change your type, but it's the conditions that we treat. Because if today, for whatever reason, you're very dry, you're very dehydrated, that we change. Next time you travel or something changes in your life and that changes as well, that's what we need to change. So my belief is, like most things, and you've seen, I'm sure you've seen that with foundations. You used to use a particular foundation, same brand, a particular color that worked very well for you. but after a while, the color was just not blending it properly. Sometimes you even need to combine the two. And it's just because, depending on what's happening, have you probably been out in the sun a lot more, so your skin has gone a bit darker, so the one you had was lighter. So it's that sort of similar concept. Have consultations with professionals. We need to stop, your forehead is shining, therefore you're oily. We need to stop doing that. We need to say, because I have a pimple, then my skin is oily. It's, you know, because this worked for my friend, it needs to work for me. So go for professional help. Get proper professional skincare consultations so that you know what condition your skin is, and based on that, you then are looking for, you get the right moisturizers. And moisturizers need to be, you're adding moisture, so hydrating your skin, adding moisturizer, and then the other element of it is something that locks it in, so it stays in the skin throughout, and, you know, sort of creates a reservoir, moisture reservoir in the skin.
My time is running out here, but I want you to touch on two things. One is antioxidants, because that's another word we hear quite frequently with skincare. And also, you mentioned your own line, Body Evolution by Winnie.
Correct.
And just tell us a bit about how people can also reach you and access your services.
Okay, great. So antioxidants, a very important ingredient that you should find in your skincare products. And what antioxidants do, they're ingredients that help fight the free radicals that are produced out in the environment, and those are the things that are causing issues on our skin. So these free radicals getting into the skin and causing, you know, the breakdown of collagen and the elastin, and the stops the cell regeneration. Antioxidants help to counter that. You need antioxidants not just on the skin but internally. And the simple way to break this, when you think of antioxidants, think of vitamins. So your vitamin A's, your C's, your B complexes, your E complexes, so which you're getting a lot of those in the product, but you can also get it from a nutrition approach. So simplest way, eat your vegetables. You're going to get all your vitamins there, therefore you get your antioxidants, and you're then taken care of. That's the craze. That's the reason we have the craze with the antioxidants, and then of course peptides and plant extracts. Then products, Body Evolution by Winnie, we are available. We can be found on Instagram and on Facebook at Body Evolution by Winnie, and our website the same, www.bodyevolutionbywinnie.com. Phone number 707 370081. That was a mouthful. Yes.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming onto the show today. It's been great meeting you and just hearing a bit about skincare from an African herself, because I think sometimes we feel like this information, we're not seeing people, you know, from here also creating our own products as well. So thank you very much, and all the best to you as well.
Great. Thank you for having me.
You're
nice meeting you.
You're most welcome. All right, guys, we're going to take a break now as we get ready for our next segment. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about your reproductive health system, and we're going to have a gynecologist here in studio with me, and he'll be answering your questions as well. 111 444 111 is the SMS line, and we'll be back at the top of the hour.